Did you know Nissan actually has some of the best hybrid technology in the world? Yet we've never been able to get it here in the United States. Well, that's about to come to an end. Grab your snacks and drinks and buckle in. Great news coming to us from Automotive News. There was a dealer meeting and Nissan shows those dealers a new retail model. You know, that's not really that to get that excited for, in my opinion. Says more EVs are coming. Great, that's happening for every brand. But when I read this headline, Nissan CEO Makoto Uchida committed to diversified powertrain strategy, started thinking, hey, is e-power finally coming to the United States? Let's keep reading. The automaker will kick off its EV offensive beginning around 2025. We'll pause right there. That is when, out of their plant in Canton, Mississippi, they'll be building at least 4 EVs. You have an Infiniti and Nissan EV sedan, and then a Nissan Infiniti EV crossover. We don't know the exact sizes or dimensions, but I would like to see it be called the Skyline. That would be epic. You know, the Maxima would be cool as well. And who knows what they would call the SUV. Skyline SUV. That would be neat. Anyways, we know in the Infiniti, and they'll just name it Q something. All right. And in 2025 is what it sounds like. Nissan is bringing their promising series hybrid technology to the United States. About a decade after launching it in Japan, officials said. Nissan has said that they're going to be launching 27 electrified vehicles globally by 2030, including 19 BEVs. Now, it's funny, Nissan actually has their own e-power landing page. So that's pretty neat. And let's read into more about e-power. Well, there's a second generation e-power, but we might be onto a third generation when it comes to our shores. So the Serena, as well as the little Nissan Note, they both use this tiny 1.4 liter engine that acts only as a generator. And this second gen system has 5% greater power and 7% higher maximum torque compared to the outgoing model. Efficiency is also improved with the second generation, up 6.4%. The Kicks actually has this system in other markets. And speaking of the Kicks, check out this headline. Nissan Kicks next gen production delayed by theft at supplier. So we'll be getting a next generation Kick soon, hopefully with e-power technology. Probably won't come until 2025, 2026, something like that. But the Mexican production of the Nissan Kicks is going to be scheduled to begin in June now. That's June of 2024, right? Because we're already past that in 2023 if you've been living under a rock. Now, the Kicks e-power actually has the option of 4-wheel drive. So they have an electric motor on the front axle and the rear axle, similar to how Toyota does it with an e-axle on the rear, but Nissan has no direct connection from the engine to any of the wheels. It's all driven electrically. It will always feel like an electric car when you're driving it. You might get some vibrations and noises coming from that little 1.4 liter engine buzzing away to top off the battery to make sure it can provide enough juice to the wheels. This thing has got to be really, really smooth. I don't think Nissan can compete with Toyota in terms of maximum power, since the engine is kind of just in the background and never has any direct role powering the wheels. Where Toyota's systems, it acts as a series as well as parallel hybrid. Nissan is exclusively series, which has its benefits and it has its drawbacks. I think on the highway is where it's really going to have diminishing returns. And then in the city, it might actually slightly be more efficient than maybe Toyota's hybrids. It's hard to say since we don't have it on the market here and I haven't tested it before. You know, Honda's hybrids are very similar to this e-power because Honda's hybrids typically work a little bit more as a series hybrid instead of a parallel hybrid. And driving Honda's hybrids, it really does feel like an electric car. But Honda's engine actually can be directly tied to the front wheels, especially at highway speeds. The little Kicks e-power hybrid gets 23 kilometers per liter, which comes out to 54 miles per gallon. But that's probably on the WLTP cycle. And that roughly translates to probably upper 40s, 48 miles per gallon here in the United States, which is pretty darn good. Corolla Cross Hybrid is going to have a lot more power with a nearly 200 horsepower, and it has all-wheel drive standard. If we look at the Corolla Cross Hybrid, it gets about 45 mpgs in the city, 38 highway. So, this vehicle is probably going to be a lot faster than the Nissan Kicks, but I think it is a little bit bigger as well. But we need that competition, other hybrids out there to compete against Toyotas. Otherwise, the dealers are probably just going to mark these things up since there's just so low supply and no competition against the Corolla Cross Hybrid really out there on the market. But Nissan shouldn't stop there. They should hybridize their best-selling Rogue as well. They should hybridize their Altima to compete against the Camry, the Accord hybrids, as well as the Sonata hybrid. So I would love to see e-Power pretty much permeate the entire lineup. And that's one of the things that's holding back, I think, a lot of their vehicles because they're hamstrung by the CVT, Jatco CVTs. Nissan makes pretty solid engines, but that CVT is just, it has that reputation of being just terrible in reliability. And it saps a lot of that joy from their turbocharged 3-cylinder, 4-cylinder engines as well. So if we can get the hybrids and their best-selling models, that will be amazing for Nissan, and it will really set them apart with their unique hybrid series technology too. So as much as I'm excited for the e-Power technology, I gotta pump the brakes because Nissan said it's not coming to the US until they redesign the Rogue for the second half of 2026. So we're still 3 years away from e-Power coming to the United States. So it's going to be what, like, it's better late than never, I guess. But that really just sunk my heart because I want it as soon as possible. I've wanted it for years, but it is what it is. Now, at one point in time, Nissan actually said e-Power was never going to come to Nissan in the United States. It would only be for Infiniti. And now it looks like there won't ever be Infiniti e-Power, only Nissan e-Power in the United States. Nissan was giving some dust around their solid-state batteries as well to dealers to get them amped up, pun intended there. We know that they're going to charge a lot faster. One dealer said that the new batteries have twice the range and power potential of a lithium-ion battery. Okay, well, without any solid figures, pun intended as well. Now, Nissan says pilot production of the solid-state batteries begin next year, so 2024, but mass production won't happen until, I believe, 2028 for them. There's going to be a Leaf replacement, and it's going to be a coupe-style crossover. I think that's a great idea. That's a hot segment right now. Hatchbacks just suck in our market, not because they actually suck, but because our culture, for whatever reason, as a whole, does not buy them nearly in the same rate as they would in a crossover, coupe-style crossover. So I'm excited to see this new Leaf with a coupe-style crossover. Now, we might actually have an idea of what this vehicle could actually look like. I'm going to play this video for you. This is called the Chill Out Concept, and this is the only coupe-style crossover I've seen. And look, it's small. Like, if we look from the side, it looks definitely smaller than the Aria, and that's where the Leaf would fit in under the Aria. Makes perfect sense to me. We have an Aria-like front end to it. Very simple, very clean, very radical rear tail lights. I doubt it'll be anything close to that at production. But I think that very well, the Chill Out Concept could be the next Leaf EV for the market. At least the general design, I think it's very sleek. Of course, there are no side mirrors on this representation, but I think it's exactly what Nissan needs. And of course, the interior is not gonna look like this with no steering wheel. Oh, grab your snacks and drinks, right? Movie theater on wheels. What do I want to see carried over here? Well, I want to see flat floors. I like having this much legroom here. You might be able to slide this whole front seat forward and back. Now, this is actually a right-hand drive model, and you can see the steering wheel pop out here. But it looks good. I like how spacious it seems, but again, it's a concept. And so we have these other EV concepts here that I do hope come to the market. I think this one would absolutely crush it with the amount of light that it lets into the cabin. This is called the Hangout, and it looks amazing. We've had this, they've also teased their kind of like futuristic coupe electric vehicle, 2-seater roadster thing, topless. So Mazda Miata would have something to fight against, would be awesome. And then their electric small pickup truck called the Surf Out, I believe, looks pretty amazing too. Now they're saying that Leaf replacement offers 25% more range than the hatchback. So if we look at the Nissan Leaf Plus SL. It has an EPA estimated at 215 miles. Edmunds got it at 237 miles. So if we taking 215 plus 25%, gets us about 50 more miles. So we're in the upper 200s now, 268 miles of range on that coupe light crossover. That's EPA estimated. Let's see here, 237 plus 25%, about 60 more miles of range. We're getting close to 300 miles of range here in an affordable Leaf successor. So that's going to be fun to see. A dealer said that the new Leaf looks to be like a mini Aria. So that chill out concept that we took a look at could very well be that mini Aria Leaf successor. What would you like for this Leaf successor to be called? I actually would like it to be called the Leaf 2. With EVs, they're more like a technology product. And, you know, we have the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, things like that. I would love for that Leaf to keep the names. It's like, hey, the second generation, that's the Leaf 2. Then, you know, the third generation, obviously the Leaf 3 and so forth and so on. I think that would be awesome. And it would very easily help the buyer to realize like which generation is which number. I think that would be cool, but I don't know why anyone's not doing it. A part of it is because so much of the competition already uses numbers for the naming of their vehicles. If you have a strong brand equity in a non-numerical nameplate, use 1, 2, and 3 after that more organic name to designate the generation. I think that would be sweet. I mean, what are we on? Are we coming up on iPhone 15 already? Nissan also showed these dealers next generation Nissan Kicks, which we just said is going to be delayed till next summer. Also, the Nissan Murano next generation was shown off. I don't know why the Murano is still around. You know, we're going to look at sales figures on this because I'm curious. All right, sales figures of the Murano, they peaked in 2016, 86,000. It's just been a rock slide ever since then, and they only sold 30,000 in 2022. It's not that it's a bad vehicle, it's just that the Rogue is better in every way, and it's the newest generation of Rogue really isn't any smaller either. So just don't see the purpose of the Murano on the market. Also, dealer was showing the new Armada, and some of the dealers are calling it a Range Rover-like SUV. Now, they're saying it has 424 horsepower from its twin-turbo V6, 9-speed auto. That's probably on standard fuel or 87 octane. We know that the QX80 redesign that they just showed, the monologue concept, that's probably going to have 450 horsepower with the premium fuel. Now, what about this new retail model? Is it direct to consumers? Absolutely not. Nissan says it will not adopt a direct factory to consumer sales model. Nissan said, we are in it with our dealers. We like the attachment and the connections to the local communities and the service that the dealers can provide. But Nissan says change is upon us. Those that can't change, they're going to find it difficult, he said. But those that can find the secret sauce to change, they're going to flourish. Nissan will use software and technology to drive brand ecosystem stickiness. Nissan executives are calling for more data sharing between manufacturers and retailers to drive customer satisfaction. Yes, it can drive customer satisfaction as long as it's not being too aggressive with data sharing and privacy. You know, more data is better for these companies typically so that they can make better products. But Nissan isn't doing it for the consumers necessarily. They're doing it for number one. Being able to share more data and use more data to make more money is really the end goal, right? It's about sharing a little bit more information for the customer's benefit, Nissan says of this project that they're working on. It's called One CRM. There'll be some dealers that might be wary of it at the start. It's not just Nissan that's going to be gathering more information as time goes on. And like our phones, our computers, everything we have are just information vacuums for these companies. So it is what it is. We already live in that era. If you're watching YouTube, you're already in cookie world. All right. Nissan delays next gen Frontier as factory prepares for EV transition. Hell yes. I love the Nissan Frontier. It's my favorite pickup truck. It might even continue to be my favorite mid-size pickup truck even after the new Tacoma comes out, because I love this big V6 in it, and it matches very well to the 9-speed auto. The truck feels just extremely well built. And I love the design of it. So what else is there for me to say about the Nissan Frontier that isn't good? So they're going to be extending this model design, and they might be, of course, there'll be a refresh on the way, more than likely, but they've extended it 2 more years to the 2029 model year, and then they'll probably come out with something like this guy, right? The Surf Out concept as a production vehicle. So I'm all for the Frontier living on with a V6 while most of its competitors enter into the era of forced induction 4 cylinders. So thank you guys for watching. I'm getting into there, ending with a very happy note. Long live the V6, long live the Nissan Frontier. You know, the only way I'd want an EV Frontier is if it had solid state batteries. Simple as that. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next video. Have a great day. Smash the like button for the future of Nissan. I'm still amped about that e-Power coming to the market, even though it seems way too far away, but all right. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves and peace.